Welcome to yet another Telltale Books video discussing, in this case, another in my Stephen King series. Surprise, surprise. I've got a lot of these right now because I'm trying to get through, I'm going through all of his work in order of publication. A lot of what I'm doing right now is in the book Night Shift, which I have already read. This really nice cemetery dance edition of Night Shift that has its own slipcase too. And so I've already read all these stories, and so I can zoom through these videos pretty quickly. And this particular story, The Boogeyman, was originally published in March of 1973 in Cavalier, the men's skin magazine, which Stephen King published a lot of his early stories in before he became famous. And those, if you go and look for those issues online to buy a copy, because they have Stephen King stories in, they're going to be selling for hundreds of dollars. And these, the skin magazines, you're not going to find free PDFs of these online. So better to find at least a paperback of Night Shift for a few bucks. And then you'll be able to read The Boogeyman, which is about a man who has 3 children who die. And each time one of them dies, the closet door is open just a crack. Interesting thing, I just recently read Cujo for the first time, and that same plot device was in Cujo, the boy of the story. At the beginning of Cujo is constantly talking to his parents about how the closet door opens in the middle of the night, and he sees something inside the closet staring back at him. Kind of I think that's pulling from this story, or at least King rehashed that idea for Cujo. Although I don't know that the Boogeyman is directly related to Cujo. I don't know that the Boogeyman is a Castle Rock story. I don't think so. I don't have anything saying that. It is just a short story, but as is typical for King, he is an excellent writer. He's able to take a short story and pack a lot into it. Good writing, good characterization, a tight plot, never more than you need, of course, to get the point of the short story, which is a sign of a good short story. You can't build an in-depth world in a short story. It's just not possible. To build an in-depth world, you have to have a whole novel so that you can get into all those details. So things are kept tight, and you only get the essential information. I I had the feeling reading this story that it's really all about child abuse. There seemed to be a lot of subtext like that. There seemed to be a lot of, like, the boogeyman isn't real. He's just an excuse for what the father is doing to the kids. I may be wrong about that, but it seemed like that was a subtext, like that was ultimately what King was trying to get at with this story is to talk about child abuse and symbolize it as a monster. If I'm right, I think that makes it a really terrific story. If it's not what King really meant, oh well, that's how I took it. um, that's the problem with reading stories, is a lot of time you're going to interpret it from your perspective, and it's not really what the author meant. But if it makes the story really great and enjoyable for you, if you find some connection to something that you are thinking about or have experienced, then it just makes it stronger, even if the author really didn't mean it. So yeah, dig in and find whatever you're going to find in the stories, and don't worry about whether or not it was really the author's intention. So this is a really good story, very enjoyable. Not quite a top tale again. I do believe King wrote better stories than this one, but it's still a very good story. It's still definitely recommended for definitely any Stephen King fans should be reading this. But anybody that likes horror, especially short horror stories, Twilight Zone style horror stories, you should give The Boogeyman a try. Actually, the whole book of Night Shift, but The Boogeyman is what we're talking about here. Give it a chance. And if you have already read The Boogeyman, I want to know what you think. Don't spoil anything, but leave your comments about The Boogeyman and Stephen King in general in the comment section of the video for everybody to appreciate. And I hope you'll come on back, because we're not done with Stephen King. The next in order of original publication, Boogeyman was number 23. Number 24 is Trucks, and that again is from Night Shift. I hope you'll come back and join me for that and all the other Stephen King and other authors that we talk about here on Telltale Books. Until then, hit the like button for the video, hit the subscribe button for the channel, and join me for the next video.